feel like you making all of this money, they tell you this is your salary, and when you're doing taxes, you realize all of this, when did all of this money go? Let's talk about budgeting. Let's talk about investing. Let's talk about finances. Let's talk about how we going to save your money. That last part, whatever. Y'all get the point. Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Those who have subscribed, thank you, as I always say. Those who are just tuning in, welcome. I hope you like this video and subscribe and join the family. So today's video will be about budgeting, your finances, money. Let's talk about budgeting. Let's talk about investing. Let's talk about you and your money. Let's talk about saving all of that cash. No, I don't like that one. Let's talk about budgeting. Let's talk about investing. Let's talk about you and your money. Let's talk about how we gonna save it. That was a little better, no? Let's talk about budgeting. Let's talk about investing. Let's talk about finances. Let's talk about how we going to save your money. That last part, whatever. Y'all get the point. You ever feel like you making all of this money, they tell you this is your salary, and when you're doing taxes, you realize all of this, when did all of this money go? That's why I started budgeting, just so I could start seeing where my money is going. And so I have 7 tips to share with you guys about how to budget, or things to keep in mind when budgeting. So yeah, let's get into it. Disclaimer, I am not a financial advisor, accountant, tax specialist. I simply just want to share some of the tips that worked for me and may work for you. Tip number 1, you want to make sure you know your monthly income after taxes and after expenses. So I guess for this tip, you have 3 steps to do. You need to figure out your monthly income after taxes. You need to figure out your expenses, the total of your expenses, and that can vary from rent, BG&E, gas and electric, and I don't know, cable, internet, entertainment bills such as Netflix, Hulu, Apple Music, Spotify, those kind of things. So every cent that is coming out of your account every month, it could be from 99 cents to whatever. Anything that is coming out of your account monthly, you need to account for that. So you need to know the total of your expenses, and then you'll subtract those expenses from your net income, and then that total is left for saving and spending. A mini tip for people who just starting out, as far as just got a new job. Let's use a fictional character. Her name is Sam, and she just graduated from college, and she needs to figure out how much money she's going to make bi-weekly. She's going to get paid bi-weekly, and her salary is $70,000. So she want to kind of get ahead of the game and try to figure out how much money she'll have and how much money she can like save and spend. And so in order to do that, you can Google paycheck calculators, and then you can also use this website I found most accurate. I'm going to show you guys, and the website is called smartasset.com, and under taxes you will go under paycheck calculator, and you'll scroll down and fill out anything that's pertaining to you. So if you're single or married, your salary, or hourly if you're paying hourly and you do not know your salary. Like I said, Sam is paying, this is just an example, Sam will be getting paid $70,000 per year. So she's from Baltimore. She's working in Baltimore, Maryland, and she's going to get paid bi-weekly. Allowances is based off of your status. And then for deductions and withholdings, if you don't know that information, I would say leave that blank. But if you do, maybe Sam, usually companies give you information about medical insurance, dental, vision, HSA, all of those deductions that will come out of your paycheck. So if Sam knew already how much money will be coming out, then she can add that information here and then click done. Once that is all typed in, everything is filled out, your estimated bi-weekly take-home pay would be $18.02. So your estimated bi-weekly take-home pay is $18.02. Just remember that that's without the deductions. I did not put anything there because it can vary. So Sam will know that she'll be taking $18.02 bi-weekly. Okay, so back to figuring out your monthly income. If you already are getting paid, you already have your job, you know how much money you make per paycheck. Just multiply the number of times you get paid per month times that one paycheck. Now, if you get paid bi-weekly like me, I do have 2 months. I believe it's May and October. And it seems like we get an extra paycheck, but I don't really think it is, because it always ends up disappearing because you still have bills to pay. So keep in mind of that extra paycheck and account for it. Now, I use a chart in Excel to figure out how much money I have left over for savings and for spending. Now, first, like I said, you find your net income monthly. I would put it here. Let's say $1,800 is what I receive every paycheck. And like I said before, I get paid twice a month. So I multiplied 1,800 times 2 into this cell right here. So that's 3,600. And then I list out every bill that come out of my account down. I put the date there as well, just for me to know when I need to pay my bill. Most of it is automatic anyway, but I still like to know what day they come out. And then you just type in all of the cost, and then the next line is the total expenses, and then the line after that is the net income after expenses. So this equation is just subtracting the expenses from the net income. So I have $1,875.05 to play with. So now that I know my net income after expenses, I break it down into 3 categories. I have investment savings, emergency savings, and then my spend account, or I will say my allowance. So on my spreadsheet, I also have this little, it's just 3 lines or 4 lines, and it's gonna just show me how much money I will have left to spend. Now, for investment savings, it can be anything from buying stocks, getting into real estate. There's so many different ways to get into real estate. It could be investing in yourself, as far as maybe like education or doing more trainings to boost your career. It could be anything, anything that you think would cost money, or anything that you think will cost money in order to grow as an individual or grow your money. I am very, very big on investment savings because I want my money to work for me and not the other way around. Now, for my investment savings, let's say I want to save $500 just so I have a backup, or for, let's say, for example, for my online business, I want to make sure that I have $500 in my account. So whenever I need to buy inventory, or I need to buy things for customers, or handle returns or anything, I will have that cash. I will have that cash ready for that. So let's say I want to put $500 for savings. So for emergency savings, the rule of thumb is 3 to 6 months worth of your expenses. I did 6 months because I felt more comfortable doing that. It all depends on your lifestyle. Now, say I want to put in, let's say $600. Yeah, so I want to put $600 into my emergency savings. And then now I'm left with $775.05 for spending. So for me, I use my spend money or my allowance for food and gas because sometimes it varies per month. Some days or some months I may want to eat out. Like I eat out and don't eat at home at all. And that costs more than eating at home. Other months I rather cook and just stay home and eat there and not eat out. So it kind of varies, and so I like to keep my food money in my allowance because that gives me the numbers, that gives me the ability to see how much I spend. And the same for gas. Some months I may like for example, for December, I was off for 2 weeks. I did not have to use much of my gas. So whatever cash that I don't use, it's in my spend account. But for you, you can estimate or take an average number and put that in your list of bills. So say like $200 per month is what I use for gas. You can add that line to that list of bills. I will leave a link down below for that Excel sheet if you want to use it, and then you can always adjust it how you please. And another thing to remember, while you're writing down your bills, you should reevaluate if you need them or not, if it's a need or if it's a want. Some of the wants, like entertainment bills, cable or Netflix, those are the things we need to keep our sanity. But if it's like excessive where you have too many entertainment bills, you may want to reevaluate if you actually need that or if it's just a want. So that's another thing you can do when you're planning to budget and stick to a strategy. Tip number 3, or tips and tricks. I don't know. I have multiple debit cards and they all have a job to do, I guess, if that makes sense. So I have 5. I know it's a lot. For one, I have investments. Like I was saying before, if I have an online store and I need some cash just for like maybe ads, to buy inventory, I want to have a separate card for that only. My next card would be savings. You need your own separate card for savings. I like to think about it as having its own separate account because you do not want to touch it. And the reason for that is because if you keep touching it, it's never going to get to where you want it to be. Unless it's like an absolute emergency, then obviously you have to touch it. But so I think when you think about that, you should make sure that you use I would say a bank where they have like limits to how much you take out, or make sure the bank is kind of like out of your way, not far out, but a little out of your way. It's not on your way to work or on your way to school. That's one thing to think about when you have your money in one of those accounts for savings. My next account I have, it's for paying bills. That account is strictly for just paying bills online. Most of my bills are automatic. Yeah, for the most part, most of my bills are automatic, and that is strictly for just paying bills. That way I know exactly what money is coming out of my paycheck. So once I get my paycheck, I move the money into my bill account, and I know I'm good and I don't have to worry about not paying a bill. My next account is my spending account, or my allowance. I use that card just for spending only. Food, gas, jewelry, anything that you want to buy, you know that that is your spend account, and you don't have to worry about, oh, I forgot to pay my bill, or I forgot to do this. No, this is strictly just my spending account, and whatever account is in here, I can spend. And don't get me wrong, just because it is your allowance in your spend account, I like to call it, you don't have to spend it. So sometimes if I don't use all of my allowance for the month, I just leave it in there, and then when the next month come and I get my next allowance, it just adds on, and I have free cash to spend. So when opening up these accounts, you want to make sure you're aware of the fees, such as like Bank of America will charge you if you don't have a certain amount of money left in the account every morning. So every morning of that month, you need to have, I think, $1,500. You just want to make sure you're aware of those fees that come out of the accounts, and make sure you know how to waive them. Another tip about accounts like M&T, they have it where if you open up an account, a checkings account with them, you receive $200. Remember, they take out taxes, so remember to add that to your taxes. But you keep in mind when you're opening up accounts, because they may have deals going on where you can receive a little cash, and just keep aware of the fees. So tip number 4, just like how you have your bills paid automatically, you can have your savings paid automatically, or you can just make sure you're saving automatically. So it's so much easier to do it that way, because then you're treating it as a bill. So you're making sure that that money is there, and you don't have to worry about, oh crap, I spent my savings money, you know? So I think it's a good idea to have your direct deposit split up if you can, and have that, how much did I say I wanted to save? I think about $600. So if I get paid twice a month, I want $300 going into my savings account every paycheck, and that way I don't have to worry about it. Just like my bills, I know I have the money for it. I don't have to worry about it, and I can simply go on about my day. Tip number 5, you want to check your budget every week. Some may do it daily if their lifestyle have them doing it that way, but I would strongly suggest making sure you're on track every week. I check mine every Friday, and I'll say sometimes Sunday. It depends on how much I spend, or if it was an emergency that week. I like to make sure I am on track every week. Sometimes daily, depending on your lifestyle. So yeah, you want to make sure you do that every week. Tip number 6, if you don't like spreadsheets, you can use apps. There's so many apps out there about budgeting, saving, financial advisement. So many apps out there. Just to name a few, I would say take a look at Personal Capital, Digit, Emma, and the last one is in my head, Mint. Those are the few that I kind of like. I am not big on apps. I am kind of old school. I like to write stuff down, or at least put it in the Excel sheet. But you can use these apps to help with your budgeting and saving. So check those out, and let me know down below if you prefer using apps or Excel spreadsheets, and if you have any other apps that you would recommend. Tip number 7. It's not really a tip, but it's something to just remember. Just because you have money does not mean you have to spend it. And I may have said it earlier in the video, but I'm gonna say it again. Just because you have money does not mean you have to spend it. I want y'all to think about that, and just remember, you know, each time I get paid, or each time I get my allowance, does not mean I have to spend it all until I get my allowance again. I can save it. That's another way of savings. Like, oh, I have my allowance, but do I really want to spend it on something I'm only going to use once? No, not really. So just remember that. Keep that in your head. Just because you have money, you don't have to spend it, okay? You do not have to spend it. And another thing, think about the lifestyle creep. Lifestyle creep is when you receive a bonus or get a promotion and get a pay increase. You want to keep track of that increase. So for example, say that I make $100 per paycheck more this year now. I want to keep track of that. So I'm going to redirect that cash into my investment savings, my emergency savings, or my spend account. But I want to be aware of that. I don't want to say, oh, I make more money, so I'm going to do this now and increase my expenses. You want to keep track of that. So if you do increase your expenses, make sure that you put that on your list of bills. But I would say just because you make more money does not mean you need to spend more money, okay? I'm just gonna leave y'all with that. And this concludes the video, and I hope it was helpful for someone. And I hope you enjoyed this video. So if you did like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you like this video, you might as well subscribe and hit that bell for post notifications. That way you can see this face pop up on your timeline again. Now, I hope y'all have a good day. I hope this video was helpful, and I'll see y'all in the next. Peace.